All right, thank you guys. The Western Carolina Catamounts take on the North Carolina Tar Heels. That's going to be a 12 p.m. Eastern start time in Chapel Hill. And as you can see here, it is not on our big screen behind me, but that's okay. The Tar Heels are the 49-point favorite at home, if your book's even offering the game. Total 69.5. We're 5-1 in our last 6 daily best plays on patreon.com/BrockPage. And access to today's daily best play costs just $1.99. Now, if you have no idea what I'm talking about, I'm going to explain a little bit more about it in just a few moments. We're also 7-2 in our last 9 Underdog tier package picks on that site as well. And access to the Underdog tier membership costs just $4.99. Now, if you want to get in on the action, link for that site is in the description section below. I'd love to have you, and that's patreon.com/BrockPage. Now, the Tar Heels have won 2 out of their last 3, 115 total points they scored in those victories. UNC scoring over 42 points a game at home, and they're throwing for 315 yards per contest in Chapel Hill. Sam Howell's thrown for well over 2,800 yards on the season, along with 24 touchdown passes. His favorite target, Syami Brown, who's caught 49 balls for 913 and 8 scores. Brown is averaging 19 yards a catch and over 100 yards receiving per game. Meanwhile, when it comes to this UNC rushing attack, kind of a two-headed monster here. They have 2 running backs who are both averaging nearly 100 yards a game. Javonte Williams has carried it 131 times for 896 and 15 touchdowns. Meanwhile, Michael Carter's touched it 7 less times than his teammate, but he has himself 864 rushing yards and 4 scores himself. The Tar Heels are rushing for nearly 235 yards a game at home. They're also 4-1 straight up on their home turf. Western Carolina, on the other side, lost 58-14 to Liberty earlier in the season. And when it comes to the total in this one, UNC saw 4 out of their last 5 ball games get over the posted number. Give me the UNC Tar Heels minus 49 with the bold lay. And the over 69.5 in that ball game. And before we go ahead and move on, just want to take another quick timeout and welcome you to the video. Got some lines of personal leans out for college football week 14. And of course, this is our ACC edition. But before we go ahead and dive into some more free content right here on YouTube, just got to quickly remind you once again that we are 5-1 in our last 6 daily best plays on patreon.com/BrockPage. And if you want access to our daily best play, it's only going to cost you just $1.99. We're also 7-2 in our last 9 Underdog tier package picks on that site as well. And access to the Underdog tier costs just $4.99. Now, you might be wondering, why would I sign up for picks on Patreon and pay for them where I can get them right here for free on YouTube? And that's certainly a great thought, a great consideration. If I were you, I'd probably be thinking the same exact thing. So we're on the same page, but you just got to hear me out here for a second, because if you were to go out there and bet every single game that's on the board, side and total, like I do here with my videos on YouTube, it's certainly not a winning formula for success. And as a matter of fact, it's a recipe for disaster. Don't go out there betting every single game on the ACC slate side and total because of this video. The books are way too smart. They're way too sharp with the numbers. And the odds become massively more against you. To be honest with you, the bookies just have so much more money than you and I do combined to be able to absorb that type of action. They'll just wipe you out. They'll decimate you. So what I do on Patreon is I make life a lot easier for you. I break it down and focus in on just 3 to 4 premium selections per day. They're my personal plays, games that I personally have action on. There's no guessing as to which game I'm playing out of all these. I give it to you right there on Patreon. And I'll tell you this much, I'm having a lot more success betting on games that way versus wagering on every single game that's on the slate side in total. Now, we currently have I know it's over 600 members after sign-up day. I think it's over 625 members signed up and active on that site right now. So a lot of people signed up, and if you want to join those folks and get in on the action, I highly recommend it. The link for that site is in the description section below, and once again, That's patreon.com/BrockPage. And moving on, we're going to go ahead and take a look at Syracuse Notre Dame, and that's going to be a 2:30 p.m. Eastern start time. Notre Dame's minus 33.5 at home with the total at 51 and a hook. Now, as good as the Irish have been, they're 0-3 against the number in their games with a point spread of 16 points or greater. So they're not doing a great job covering those high numbers. Now, the Irish have also successfully covered the point spread in just 2 out of their 5 home games this year as well. And as dominant as this Notre Dame defense has been this season, they're allowing nearly 250 passing yards a game on their home turf, so you can certainly move the ball against them. Now, they're taking on a Syracuse team who nearly beat NC State this past week. They were a 4th down clocking the ball by spiking it as time expired away from potentially tying that one up. Guy spiked the ball on 4th down as time was expiring. Like, how dumb can you get? But anyway, regardless, they easily covered the 17-point spread in that ball game. So they got the job done, and they also successfully covered the number in 3 out of their last 5. Not many bright spots on the Syracuse roster. I get it. Although wideout Raj Harris has 664 yards receiving and 5 scores. Meanwhile, defensively on the other side of the ball, as bad as the Orange have been there as well, the Orange had 22 takeaways along with a dozen interceptions. Linebacker Michael Jones leads this Syracuse D with 4 picks, along with a pair of forced fumbles, 2 fumble recoveries, and 67 total tackles. Now, total-wise, 3 out of Syracuse's last 4 ball games did stay under the posted number. Meanwhile, Notre Dame saw 2 out of their last 3 stay under the line themselves, throwing out the Boston College game. So with all that said and done, Notre Dame's going to win it outright, but give me the Syracuse Orange plus 33.5, keeping this one close, and the under 51.5 in that ball game. All right, next matchup, it is going to be Boston College taking on Virginia, 3:30 p.m. Eastern kickoff in Charlottesville. The Virginia Cavaliers are minus 6 at home with the total at 54.5. Virginia is playing some really good football right now, 3-0 straight up in their last 3 ball games, 4-0 against the spread in their last 4. The Cavaliers have also won 80% of their contests at home this season, and they covered the number in 4 out of those 5 home games. Brennan Armstrong has thrown for nearly 1,600 yards along with 15 touchdown passes. Wideout Lavelle Davis and tight end Tony Poljan also have 10 touchdown receptions between the two of them. The Cavaliers are scoring 38 points a game at home, and they're gaining over 410 yards a game of total offense. Meanwhile, defensively on the other side of the ball, the Cavaliers have given up 19 points or less in 3 out of their last 4 ball games. Charles Snowden has 6 sacks and 44 total tackles from that linebacker spot. They're taking on a BC squad who failed to cover the point spread in 2 out of their last 3 themselves. They're scoring just 21 points per contest on the road, and quarterback Phil Yurkovich has been pretty banged up pretty banged up lately. He's officially listed as questionable for Saturday's action. The BC defense is also giving up 27 points per contest and over 160 yards a game on the ground. Now, total-wise, BC's last 2 straight got over the posted number. They're also 71% to the over in their last 7. Meanwhile, UVA's 80% to the over at home, 75% to the over for the entire season, regardless of location. I'm going to lean toward the Virginia Cavaliers minus 6 and the over 54.5 in that game. All right, next matchup, it is going to be a 4 p.m. Eastern start time. Not sure if it's on our big screen. It's not, but it's going to be Georgia Tech squaring off against NC State. 4 p.m. Eastern start time at Carter Finley Stadium. The NC State Wolfpack's the 7-point favorite at home, total at 60 points. The Wolfpack's on a nice little 3-game winning streak, 4-1 straight up and against the spread at home this season as well. The Wolfpack scoring 34 points a game at Carter Finley Stadium, and they rush for $1.65 a game in that same category. Zonovan Knights just 2 yards shy of 700 rushing for the season, 5.6 yards a carry and 8 rushing touchdowns on the season for the Z-Man. They're taking on a Georgia Tech program who's lost 3 out of their last 4, and they average just 15 points per contest in those losses. This Georgia Tech defense is giving up nearly 40 points a game and over 450 yards of total offense per contest. Now, total-wise, NC State saw 2 out of their last 3 ball games stay under the posted total. The Wolfpacks also 60% to the under at home. Give me the NC State Wolfpack -7 and the under 60 in that ball game. All right, next contest should be a good one, although the number is huge. It's going to be Clemson versus Virginia Tech, 7:30 p.m. Eastern kickoff in Blacksburg. The Clemson Tigers are the 22-point favorite on the road, total 67. And as good as this Clemson team is, they really struggled against the number all season long. This is a pretty big number here. They failed to cover the number in 3 out of their last 4 ball games, and they're covering just 33% of their contests for the entire season. The Tigers are allowing nearly 230 yards a game passing on the road. Now, that's certainly not enough to lose sleep over, but certainly enough to make a 3-touchdown point spread a little bit more dicey. So if you're leaning Clemson, just keep in mind, you can pass on them a little bit. You're not going to throw darts on them, but you can move the ball through the air. Now, Virginia Tech, on the other side, they've really struggled as of late as well. I'm not going to lie there. They're not playing great football, but they still find themselves rushing for nearly 260 yards a game at home. Khalil Herbert has rushed for 924 yards on the season and 6 scores. Herbert's averaging over 8 yards a carry and rushes for over 100 yards a game on average. Meanwhile, quarterback Hendon Hooker also has 627 yards rushing and 9 scores on the ground himself. Now, total-wise, Virginia Tech saw 3 out of their last 4 ball games get over the posted number. They're 67% to the over for the entire season. Meanwhile, Clemson saw their last 5 straight get over the line themselves. Clemson's going to win this one outright, but it's going to be a little bit closer than you think, in my opinion. Give me the underdog Virginia Tech Hokies. Plus 22, keeping that one respectable. In the over 67 in that contest. And with that, we're going to dive into our next and final matchup for the show. It is not on our big screen. That's disappointing. But it's going to be the Miami Hurricanes versus the Duke Blue Devils. 8 p.m. East at Wallace Wade Stadium. The Canes are -14 on the road, total 61. Miami is on a 4-game winning streak, 7-1 straight up overall for this season. They're scoring 34 points a game and throwing for over 280. De'Aaron King has thrown for nearly 2,100 yards and 17 touchdown passes. King has also rushed for over 420 yards on the ground as well. They're taking on a Duke program who lost their last 2 straight and failed to cover the number in 3 out of their last 4. Duke's allowing 35 points a game at home and nearly 250 yards a game rushing. Now, they've lost 3 of 4 at home, and they find themselves just 2-7 straight up overall for this season. Now, total-wise, Duke's 3-0 to the over in their last 3 ball games, 6-1 to the over in their last 7. Meanwhile, Miami saw 4 out of their last 6 get over the line themselves, of course, throwing out the Virginia Tech game. Give me the Miami Hurricanes -14 and the over 61 in that ball game. And with that, guys, we're going to dive into our quick pick recap, brought to you by patreon.com/BrockPage, where we are 5-1 in our last 6 daily best plays. I like UNC -49 over 69.5. Syracuse +33 and a hook under 51.5. Virginia -6 over 54 and a hook. NC State -7 under 60 points. Virginia Tech +22 over 67. And last but certainly not least, I like the Miami Hurricanes -14 and the over 61. And with that, we're going to dive into some shout-outs, once again brought to you by patreon.com/BrockPage. And from our Instagram platform, shout out to Print Name Here, Prono Sportsbet, Texas Omen R3, John Anderson, Bubba Jonesy, James Bruce, Jay Mobile, Cool Sorry, Xyloid Plastic, Nurse Iscali, and Sports Lover 2K. And finally, from our our YouTube platform. And if you hear your name, please feel free to drop me a comment in the comment section. But anyway, Bertrand Tech Montreal, Darius McNeil, Gino Hernandez, Elliot V, Nathan Williams, Kevin Taylor, Sean Mejias, Jeffrey Sung, Oliver Bryant, and last but certainly not least, got to give a shout out to my man, the CQP Underboss. All right, guys, that's going to do it for me. Don't forget to check me out on Patreon. If you guys decide to get a package here today, just keep in mind we'll bill you the day you sign up and then the first of every month following that. But most importantly, guys, got to thank you for joining me right here on YouTube. Really hope you enjoyed all this great free content. all this great free information. And with that said, happy Tuesday to you. Best of luck to you. And I look forward to seeing you later on today on my website at patreon.com/BrockPage.